I was in my bed sleeping, holding my husband's hand. I'll bury it with the rest of him when I'm ready. I left a comment saying if only we went an inch deeper. As I watched a YouTube video about a woman who survived being buried alive 25 feet underground. Not entering the art university didn't destroy my life. It destroyed more than 60 million people's lives. It's been 12 weeks since my dog was hit by a car. The barking and scratching at the back door have almost driven me insane. I stood in fear watching as the anomalous, Satan-like entity killed my fellow soldiers. Too bad Kim is used in the sacrifice, he would have loved this. My babysitter asked me to stay in a very small room one day. As days passed, I don't know if they can hear me, but I can hear them crying and asking what happened to me. They delivered the mannequins in bubble wrap. It wasn't until they were alone in the storage room when I began to hear popping. The owl disappeared from the shed last night. Odd thing is, it was taxidermy. As I was cleaning up around my lab, I found a strange journal. Warning, subject still thinks they're the scientist. I thought it was diamonds. It was lapis. I am overwhelmed by grief as I read my friend's will. I will admit that feeling was quickly replaced after I looked up from the paper to see them staring at me. My children were so well behaved and never talked back. If only they talked at all. I remember last night I heard my dad getting ready to go to work. I moved out 2 years ago. I wake up and a man in my room. I realize it's another sleep paralysis episode. I sigh, rubbing my eyes with relief. This is a common one. I got in the Uber driver's car, and it was 15 minutes we were driving when I got a text that read, "Hey, it's your Uber driver, I'm outside." As I got in my TARDIS, I punched in the year 2022. I start to worry every day to the fact that it said error, year unavailable. I know your daughter has only just got out of the asylum, but I'm sure she'll fit in fine at her new school. But it was not my daughter I was worried about, it was her classmates. I was listening to music and heard my mom scream dinner's ready. So I got up and walked downstairs. Then I remembered that my mom died 5 years ago and I was home alone. I woke up in haze, having just felt like I was being pulled upwards to an evil presence in the corner of my room. It didn't make sense when I saw my empty bed below me. I feel a cold chill running down my spine, my friend remarked with a nervous smile. I'm sure it's nothing. I reassure her with a warm smile, as I watch the long creature's claws reach her throat. I was too drunk to stand, so a man offered to walk me home. He had been so nice to me that night, like when he offered me a drink. My parents were horrified with my weight. I couldn't believe how fat I was, either. We all equally hated the fact that the scale read 85 pounds. I was shocked to hear that 5 dead bodies had been found in the woods behind my house. I could have sworn I had killed 6. Please, the woman said, let me see my children. The cop sighed and asked for the 10th time, ma'am. Where are their parents? The room was sanitized and ready for autopsy as the coroner brought in the body. But the paralysis kept me from telling them I was still alive. The surgeon calmly advised the intern, guiding his hands to ensure that the Botox did not enter the patient's bloodstream. But no matter how much his mentor consoled him, the intern could not ignore the heartbreaking sounds of frantic and agonized squeaking. It's been days since my dad left, but I know he'll be back soon. He just needs to get food from that nice girl in the red coat and her granny. As I slain the last column, everything went into black. And then an unknown entity stabbed me by its light. My sister used to always hide in the closet and make screaming noises to scare our family, then claim it wasn't her. Considering her funeral was a week ago, I think I believe her a bit more. My son fell asleep before the plane took off, but when he finally saw the sky beneath us, he got incredibly excited, telling me he could fly. I didn't have the heart to tell him we were falling. I froze as a hand grabbed my ankle from under my bed. I guess the body wasn't dead after all. I felt no remorse as I shot and killed the person that killed my wife. They made no protest, as he was only a few minutes old. I've never liked sleeping by myself, as I get nightmares easily, and that's why I hold my mom and dad's hands at night while they lay in bed, next to me. It's hard to fall asleep to the smell of rotting corpses. As I walked into the back room of the restaurant, I smelled the stench of when I last went in here. I wipe the blood of my name tag that reads, William Afton, as I stand upon my latest work. I always hated the picture hanging in my room because it would change at night from a grassy plain to the silhouette of a man. I went to my parents about how the picture was scaring me. And I froze when they said there were no pictures hanging in my room, only windows. I walked out of the shower, only to see my family's dead bodies in the living room. Who the hell took them out of the basement? I can see the future whenever I closed my eyes. But one day when I did, I only saw darkness. My uncle sighed and told me nobody could hear me scream. We were the only ones that survived the massacre, so he was right. My 5-year-old sister came across the brand new drink called holy water, and poured it onto herself. She started screaming as she melted away, her horns finally revealed. It was strange really, the fact that every time I drew the monster, the drawing disappeared. Almost as if it came to life. To be honest Mom, I'm scared of that cannibal killer on the news, I said handing over my dinner plate. Oh sweetie, I'm not the cannibal, replied my mother as she took my cleared dinner plate. Fearing the worst when I found a bloody machete at the front door, I was surprised to find my family inside alive and well. I didn't like how they were smiling at me, though. My twin screamed as they watched me slice into my skin. It's not like I wanted to be born a conjoined twin. He was sitting next to my dad and grandparents. How had they not noticed my mole wasn't supposed to be on the right? I wasn't scared about the creepy man that chased me into the closet in the nightmare. I was afraid of the fact that I woke up in the closet, despite going to bed in my bed. I saw a girl with a fake tail hanging out from under her shirt. As a joke I pulled on it. The way she screamed made me realize, it wasn't attached to her belt. I walked over to my mirror and noticed handprints on it and I assumed they were from my little brother playing around and putting his hands on it. It was only until I tried wiping them off my mirror that I realized they were on the inside of the mirror. In one of my self-deprecating moods again, I looked at my reflection and said I'm a horrible, horrible person. Yes, you are, it replied. I wake up to a shadow at my window, luckily it was just a tree. Then I remembered, this is the 13th floor. Sometimes I hear my wife stop breathing in her sleep for a few seconds. When she starts breathing again, I curse under my breath and wonder when that parasite will just take over already. This hell is a bleak Tartarus of soulless, bitter misery as these demons shout at me daily, doing seemingly everything in their power to torment me, in this mind-numbing abyss of despair. Yet every day I am forced to come and endure, saying those same awful words I'm forced to say every day. Welcome to Walmart. We ask that you please wear a mask. Guys, I'm back with some milk. My dad said as he came in. I thought he would have been long gone if I asked him to go get milk. What do I do with the bodies now? The sirens blared and echoed throughout the day. I watched the tall figure walk past my window. I was at 3 a.m. getting a snack and a demon came, but I pointed behind him. It was my mom with her belt. After what seemed like hours, the shooting finally stopped. I'll be sure to bring more bullets next time. People always say to me that a shadow is like someone's self from another universe, albeit they do not have their own life. Then why does my shadow move when I do not? People have started going missing. Looks like I'm going to have to discipline it again for leaving the basement without my permission. As I am closing my eyes for the last time, I hear a voice. Now you will relieve the life of every creature you hurt. Kid, get away from those things. They're dangerous. Why? You're the one they're after. Adela called, apparently she needs some help. John's voice was still ringing in Sergio's head. That was the last thing John had said to him before he was reported missing. I'm going to avoid my friend joke before leaving the call. I never suspected that maybe they weren't joking until about 5 days later. As I pointed the gun barrel to the roof of my mouth, I felt a sense of relief and peace. That relief was pierced by the horrifying realization that, despite shooting, I was still here. I snapped the doors locks of the hunting cabin shut, finally satisfied that I was safe from the wolves outside. It was only when I turned around that I realized I was quite mistaken. Please like and subscribe, and tap the notification bell icon below to get notified of more Reddit DTS videos. Leave a comment down below or send us your 2-sentence horror stories and short horror stories at our email on the description. to be featured on our upcoming videos. Thank you for your support. This is RedditJoe channel, your everyday Reddit.